Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm doing my mid-year palette ranking. So I am ranking all of the palettes that I have purchased so far in 2020. The first person that I saw do this is Samantha March. I'm going to go ahead and link her video down below as well as her ranking playlist. She does a lot of rankings on her channel. I really love Samantha. I'm sure you all know and love her as well. I've also seen several other people do this. Two that really come to mind are Betty Jean from Butte Bean, again somebody I totally love and respect and look up to, and also Amy Loves Makeup. So I will I will link their videos down below as well. That being said, we are going to jump in just a second here. Before we do, if you're new here, hi, I'm Annie. I am a 40-something lover of color who believes that you can have fun with color at any age. So if you'd like to see a little more color in your timeline, if you think that my videos sound like fun, I'd love it if you'd stick around and subscribe down below. So talking about the palettes first. I am only ranking palettes that I purchased. I am not ranking anything that I received in BoxyCharm. This year was kind of a dud, honestly. But anyways, only the things that I purchased with my own money. I didn't want to include any of those. Otherwise, this video would be like forever long. Also, I am ranking my palettes not just on formula and which formulas I like the best, but color story. So I may rank something low that has a very good formula purely for the color story, and maybe something that has maybe not the best formula a little higher just because I love the color story so much. And lastly, of course, if I dislike something that you really love, I'm sorry, we all have different tastes in makeup. It is nothing personal. One of the things that I think is great and fun about makeup is that we all use it differently and we all like different things. And I love to see what other people like. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start with number 24. This is the worst palette, according to me, of my purchases this year. And that is the Wet n Wild and Bretman Rock Jungle Rock palette. So it looks like this. It has very cute packaging. I think it's bright, it's summery, it's fun, it's beautiful. You open it up, it's a beautiful color story. But these shadows were terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. I'm going to bring this close to you. Check out this blue shadow here. Can you see all the pits and holes in that shadow? I have used that shadow one time, just once, and it was terrible. In order to get any pigment out of it at all, I literally had to dig into it with my brush and scrape bits off and then try to get that onto my eye. It was awful. Let me swatch it for you so you can see. You can see how many times I'm going around here, and that is what my finger looks like. Seriously, that. And then let's go ahead and swatch it. Let's do it one more time just for kicks, shall we? That is 2 layers built up on my hand. 2. It's bad. This formula was so bad. I used this palette one time, struggled so much with it, and never touched it again because I was furious at it. So while the color story is pretty, the mattes are not terrible. I mean, they're not wonderful, but they're not like absolutely unworkable. This shimmer pissed me off so much that I was done. So I am sorry, Bretman Rock and Wet n Wild. This was bad. It was really bad. Moving on to another palette that I struggled with and didn't love. And this one made me really sad because it's actually from a brand that I really enjoy, although this brand can be kind of hit or miss. So this is the Melt Impulsive palette. This is the outer carton. I saved it because I think it's super cute. And this is what it looks like inside. It is humongous. It is heavy as heck. This could be used to defend yourself from home invasion. It is that heavy, like you whack someone with this thing and you are going to do some damage. So I love the packaging, like the way it looks. I think it's really pretty. It is huge, it is bulky, but it's not something that I would take anywhere with me, so it doesn't bother me too much. And when you open it up, it looks like this. Now the color story is really interesting. So we've got all warm tones on this side and cool tones on this side. The problem is that there's no cool tone mattes to go with these. So I'm not sure what they were thinking there. These are all shimmers, and it's not my favorite shimmer formula. I really like a shimmer that is super bright, super foiled, something that is going to be able to be visible from like the space station at night. That's what I want in my shimmers, and these are not it. But really the reason I ranked this at number 23 is these two shadows right here. These two shadows were so difficult for me to work with. I literally had to stop filming, wipe my eyeballs off, wipe it off my eyes, and start again. They were patchy and they were hard to blend and they were just not nice. These other mattes here worked pretty well, but yeah, there's nothing about this palette that I love, and these two shades literally killed it for me. So this is why the Melt Impulsive palette ranks number 23 for me. Sorry, Melt. Number 22. This is another company that I really love, and I have a lot of other palettes from them that are ranked higher, way higher. But the color story on this one just doesn't do it for me. So at number 22, I have the Colourpop Butter Me Up palette. First of all, the packaging is freaking adorable. It is so cute. These kind of cool tones, mauves, you know, these butterflies, the sparkle. Love it. I think that the color story is really, really pretty. I don't mind pressed glitters. There's one here and there's one here. That doesn't bother me in a palette. But I think why this ranks so low for me is that I have actually a difficult time using this. For some reason, every time I do, things muddy up on my skin tone. And I think it's just because these colors just don't work with my skin tone at all. So when I try to blend them in, they just look ugly. I don't know how else to say it. They look ugly and it's not cute. And so that's why I had to rank this one so low at number 22. Sorry, Colourpop. Number 21. So number 21, I like this palette, and I actually gave it a pretty good review when I did my first impression with it. But it's at 21 because I have other shadows in this this color story that I like better, and I just have other shadows that I like better. So that is the Urban Decay Wired palette. So I also have the electric palette, and I really, really love the electric palette. I've had that one for a long, long time. But this is what it looks like. So with the exception of these pastel shades, I did not like that they included this one, and this one. Not a fan of that. I wish they would have kept it all like neon shades. I think that these actually performed pretty well. I would have been happier had they chosen to do either all mattes or done some true like shimmers, because like this one is supposedly a shimmer, this one is supposedly a shimmer, this one and this one have a little bit of glitter specks in them, and I mean I use those as just mattes anyways, but these, I mean, they're okay, but again, the shimmer formula is not my favorite. I would have been happier if they had just been all mattes, and then I could put something on top, a topper of some sort, whether it be multi-chrome flakes or some just topper shades from like an indie brand or something like that. But I did actually enjoy this palette, and I got some really cute looks out of it. And the formula isn't terrible. I just have neons that I like better, that I picked up after this palette, that I think are just better. And I actually think I prefer the original electric just a little bit to this palette. Moving on to number 20. So these next two kind of break my heart. They are from one of my all-time favorite indie brands, and this is nothing against the brand, and this is nothing against the shadow formula, because I think the shadow formula here is actually really, really good. I still have them in the outer packaging because this is how much I use them. So coming in at number 20 is the Nomad Cosmetics Malibu palette. So it's a little quad. It looks like this. The packaging is adorable. This little surfboard actually feels like wood, very cute. But this is what it looks like inside. This is probably the most neutral color story I have ever seen. And I mean, it's just not me. Look at me. Look at me. I am like a color-loving unicorn. I am. I don't ever wear these shades. There are two browns, a cream shade, and a sage green. Yeah, like I said, the formula is absolutely impeccable. These mattes are so soft. They feel smooth and silky and wonderful. But they're brown. I don't wear brown. I guess I only purchased these because they're from Nomad Cosmetics and I love the brand, but frankly, it was maybe not the smart decision for me. And coming in at number 19 is the sister palette, and that is the Insanitas Quad. It looks like this again with that cute little surfboard. This one is ranked a little higher because it has this blue here, which is a very, very nice blue. Again though, I don't reach for this. I just don't. It is so neutral, and I have blues in other palettes, so it's not like I grab this and use it ever. So these two little quads were kind of pretty much just a waste of money for me. Again, the formula is fantastic. I love this brand. I think this brand is amazing, and I am looking forward to their next release, which I think happens to be like something about the Orient Express, but that's just me. They're giving clues on Instagram, and they said it was in Asia, and they said, oh, they showed a little mustache, makes me think of Poirot, and then champagne. So I'm thinking Orient Express, but that's just me. Okay, moving on. Again, this is another brand that I absolutely adore. I purchase a lot from this brand. It's a little tiny indie cosmetics brand, one of my all-time favorites. They make some really, really cool things, and I love them very much. But this is the MBACosmetics watercolor collection. It is their pastel palette bundle. So it's not, I guess technically you can buy these just as like a single like a all together. Well, okay, I'm stumbling here. You can buy just the shadows without this little palette, but you can't buy them individually at this point, I don't think. You buy them all together, so I'm treating it like a palette. So this is, again, her watercolor bundle, and I actually really do like these, but these are very, very pastels. Very, very soft wash of color, and I like that sometimes. I really do. I don't always want to have them super pigmented. Sometimes I just want a very, very soft wash of color, and these are the ones that I use for that. They're really, really nice. I do wish that there wasn't a black in here. I feel like, and pastels do this a lot, they put a black in, and I don't think a black is necessary. I don't mind the gray, but I feel like the black is a little too much when you're dealing with these types of colors. But I really do like this. It's a very powdery formula, but I do enjoy it. So that is number 16. That's the MBACosmetics watercolor collection. That was number 18. Number 17. This is the Natasha Denona Love Palette. I like this palette. Again, I think it's beautiful. I think the formula is great. I think that there's some very interesting shades in here, but I oftentimes have the same problem with this one as I did with the Colourpop Butter Me Up palette, and that is that these shades don't really flatter my skin tone, and it makes me sad because I think it's a beautiful palette, but I do always have to pull something else in with this when I use it. It's not for me a standalone palette. Even this shade right here shows up a little dark on my eyes. So, I mean, again, it's pretty, it's beautiful. It was expensive. It was like, what are these, like $69 or something? And I just don't get very much use out of it. So that's why I have ranked it at number 17. Number 16. This is another one that I love. The formula. I love these shadows. I think that they're really pretty. I just have others that I like a little bit better, and that is the Sugar Pill Fun Size Mini Color Palette. It's so cute with that little pixelated cat there, and then the color story looks like this. Now, to me, these look very, very bright in the pan, but when you get them on the eye, these behave more like pastels, with the exception of this red shade down here. I think that they do perform more like a pastel than a neon or a bright shadow. I do, like I said, I do like this palette and I like this formula. I just don't reach for this as much as I do for some of my other pastels or some of my other palettes. So that is why I ranked it at number 16. Again, it's a cute little palette and I'm happy to have it, but I just don't reach for it. Number 15. Now this is a newer one to my collection. I just picked it up this month. And I like it, and I think the formula is good. I've only used it once, but I think the formula is very nice. But we'll talk about, I guess, why I ranked it where I did. This is number 15. This is the Nabla Cutie number 5 palette, the Wild Berry palette. It looks like this. It looks like berries, and I like it. I think it's really pretty. The only reason I ranked it number 15 and not higher is because the shimmer formula in this is not my favorite. So this one here and this one here are both shimmer formulas, and they're very pretty. But again, it goes back to, if I'm going to put a shimmer on my lid, I want it to be a knockout super bright shimmer. That's just what I love. That's what I gravitate toward. So these two shades just don't do it for me. I will say, however, that when I go back to work, which is happening in just a few more days, this will probably be a good palette to grab when I'm in a hurry and just want to put something on and want it to work out really well, because these mattes blend so beautifully. They are wonderful, beautifully pigmented, but they don't just stick in one spot. That you can move them around and get a beautiful blend with them. So I do like this palette. So it is number 15. Number 14, we're going to kind of move into a bunch of Colourpop here. So number 14 is a Colourpop 9-pan palette. This is the Going Coconuts palette. Now, yes, I realize this is a very brown palette, very neutral palette. Annie, you don't like neutrals, you say, and I don't like neutrals. However, I will say that I do like this one. I love these two shimmer shades here. I think that these are beautiful. This is a little darker than I like to put on my lid, but that's just me. But what I like about this is if I do need, for some reason or another, to pull in a brown to a look, this is the palette that I reach for. This shade up here is like my perfect like eraser shade. So if I make a mistake, I like to go in with a shade that is very similar to my skin tone and kind of erase it and buff that mistake away. This one works fabulous for that, and that's why I've ranked it at number 14. Number 13 is another 9-pan palette from Colourpop. This is the Mint to Be palette. Oh, we all know what this looks like by now. I love this palette. I think it's really cute, super fun to play with. The reason I ranked it where it is because there's one shadow that I think doesn't perform as well as I would hoped, and that is this one down here, Chill Factor. It is not as dark and deep on the eye as it looks on the pan, so that's why I ranked it where it is. But I do love this palette. I think it's fantastic. I actually just had finished a giveaway on my Instagram using with this palette. Because I love it so much and I wanted other people to have it too. So yeah, if you're not following on my Instagram, you should be. I am at @SeeMyBliss_beauty. Anyhow, that is why I ranked this one at number 13. Number 12, another Colourpop 9-pan palette. This is the Lilac You A Lot palette. I think that this is such a cute color story. Again, I love these shimmers. I think that they are so beautiful, and I think that this works out really well on the eye. This is a nice kind of cool tone lilac. These ones, however, unlike the Butter Me Up palette, actually look nice on my skin tone. They don't turn into a muddy hot mess. And so, yeah, number 12. Number 11, yet another Colourpop palette. This is the Baby Got Peach. It looks like this, and this is what it looks like inside. Again, it's got a pressed glitter. I don't mind the pressed glitters. What I love about this palette, and you might be looking at it going, that's awfully neutral, but as far as I'm concerned and in my thought process, peach is a color. It is not brown, it is peach, hence colorful palette. I like this when I'm in a hurry because I know that when I pull this out and slap it on my eyeballs, I can get a really cute look, be ready to go, and make it fast. And if I really, want to pop things over the top, I just pop some of that on my lid along with whatever I've done, and I feel very sparkly and glamorous and unicorny, and it makes me happy. So that is why it is number 11. Moving into the top 10, we're almost there. Oh my gosh. Another Colourpop palette. Oh my gosh. This is the Strawberry Shake palette, which of course looks like this. I think it's adorable. I know some people were disappointed by this, but I am not disappointed by this. I love it. I love the shimmers in here. I love this bright pink here. It's one of those ones that has like the glitter in it, but I just use this as a matte. Those little glitter product particles brush away. I wish companies would stop putting glitter in mattes, just saying. But again, this is another one that I love to use when I'm in a hurry and I know that I can get a good look and feel cute when I walk out the door in just a few minutes. So that's why I ranked this one at number 10. Number 9. Number 9 is a very inexpensive palette that I love. I think it's fantastic. I did do a first impression on this, and that is the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. I was impressed with this. This puppy was $10 and it works so, so well. I was so, so impressed. The pinks you do have to build up a little bit, which I kind of expect with pinks. Every pastel pink that I've ever used is like that. This blue and this green are phenomenal. I was blown away. The only thing missing from this palette is I wish that there was a true blue. This one comes off a little more turquoise instead of like a really nice, beautiful pastel blue. So that's my one complaint with this palette, but otherwise this palette is so great. I love it. I think it's beautiful, and it was $10. $10. So good for $10. Number 8. This is another Beauty Bay palette. I guess it's not a Beauty Bay palette, but one I picked up on Beauty Bay. And again, this one, I really liked this one for one particular reason. So this is the Sample Beauty, the Prodigy palette, Jewel Toned Edition. First of all, I think the packaging is really cute. And this is what the color story looked like. It's absolutely beautiful. So the matte formula on this is just okay. I don't have any like major issues with it. I will say it's one of those palettes that if you want to do a deep look, you need to start with the deepest shade. They don't like to blend out well. If you do too much blending, I feel like they do get a bit patchy. So like for the other day, I did a very simple look just using this shade, and this shade. Super, super simple, and I didn't blend much. I put tourmaline down first, and then I went in with Appetite, and then I put this on my lid. Very simple, hardly any blending, and the shadows performed beautifully. However, if I had gone in with Appetite first and then tried to put tourmaline on top of it, it would have gotten patchy and would have turned into a mess. So don't do that. But the reason I rank this one as high as I do is for really 2 shadows, 3, but 2. So Moonstone, Beryl, and Diaspora are these really, really amazing, like multi-dimensional shadows. They are so pretty and they are so, so liquid looking. I don't love Beryl as much, which is this gold one, just because it's gold and I don't typically wear gold, but let's like swatch it. So this is Moonstone. This is Beryl, if I can do it not on top, and then this is Diaspora. So this is what they look like swatched out. And can you see how reflective those are? They are just so, so stunning. And that's why I ranked this palette as high as I did for those shades in particular, because they are just gorgeous and I just like to put them up all over my lid. Honestly, I think that they are just as good as some of my more expensive indie shadows. And I think I want to say this palette was like $24 or something. It wasn't that expensive for what you get, and those shadows made it completely worth it for me. So that's why I ranked it at number 8. Number 7 is what I'm actually wearing on my eyeballs today. I love this. This is another bundle from MBACosmetics. This is the Glow with the Flow collection here. I absolutely love this neon bundle. I think it is fantastic. These shadows perform so, so well. Now, you do have to be aware that they are very, very dusty shadows. She does say that though on her website. She puts it right there for everyone to see. These are dusty. You need to use them over a wet base. You do not want to set your base and then use these, or these will not show up. They will blend away and they will not be cute. But put this over a white base. I just used the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. And they're fantastic. They're so pigmented and so beautiful, and I love them. And so that is why I ranked these at number 7. Coming in at number 6, this is another pastel palette because I'm kind of in love with pastels. I love them. This palette is not new. It has been around for ages, but I finally just now picked it up, and that is the Creepy Cute palette from Shroud Cosmetics. We all know what it looks like by now. Again, my complaint with this is that it has this black in here. I wish that it didn't have this black. I would like to have a yellow instead of a black. But that's neither here nor there. I did not put this palette together. That's what they chose. That was their vision. Okay. But I love this. I think that these are those pastels that are much more muchier. And they show up really, really, really well on my skin. They're beautiful. They blend beautifully. They're soft. I have no complaints about the formula. This pink shade here, what is it? Strawberry Milk, is such a cute blush. I just love it as a blush, and I have no complaints. Of course, it does still say Strobe Cosmetics. They haven't gone through all of their packaging yet. If you didn't know, they used to be called Strobe. They've changed their name to Shroud, and in the interest of not creating excess waste, they continue to use their old packaging until they run out. I really respect that about them. Coming in at number 5, we are in the top 5. Woohoo! This is one that I love. And now these top 5, okay, the top 4, this is like a toss-up basically. I didn't know where to rank these because I love them all so much. So these are kind of arbitrary rankings. The reason I ranked this one, I think though, at number 5, this is the Kaleidos Makeup Escape Pod palette. I love it. I think it's cute. It's adorable. And yeah, I think it's so cute, but I have 2 complaints about this palette. The first one is these oranges. I wish they would have only included 1. 2, they look exactly the same on the eye, so it's not necessary to have them both. The second reason is the green shimmers, this one here and this one here. Again, they look very, very similar on the eye. I would have liked if they had replaced one of these orange shades with a matte lime green and maybe a either like a bright pink here or a color similar to this shade up here. Now I know some people had trouble with that shade. I did not. I used it first and then blended around it. I didn't try to plop it on top of any other colors, and maybe that's why it worked out for me. I don't know. But I love this palette. I think it's beautiful, and it is ranked number 5. Number 4 is another one that I love and another newer one. This is the Lethal Cosmetics After Dark palette. It is so pretty and I love everything about it. The mattes blend beautifully. The shimmers are fantastic. I have no complaints about this palette. I think it is the bee's knees and I love it. I think it's gorgeous. It is that perfect mixture between neon and pastel. They're bright, they're bold, they're beautiful. I can't say enough good things about this, but I'm running out of time. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 is another pastel palette because I love pastels. I rank this one higher than the Shroud Cosmetic palette for 2 reasons. The first reason being him. I think he's cute. Yes, I'm a packaging, like, I fall for it every time. That seal makes my heart just happy every time I see it. So of course this is the Menagerie Cosmetics Pastel Pup palette. So cute. The other reason that I ranked this one higher is because it has this shade Snowball here. The other one is all matte. This one does at least include 1 multi-dimensional shadow. I think they call them trifoils. Really like that. I do wish that they had replaced these with all the other trifoils because they have 3 in this collection, but they did not. So we have a black, and again, not the biggest fan of black, but here we are. And then the white, which again, I could take or leave the white. I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to pause the recording here because it's going to cut me off, and I only have 2 palettes left and I want to give them the attention they deserve. So pause, I'll be right back. So number 2 is a palette that I think is adorable, and part of the reason I ranked it number 2 is for, again, the packaging alone, because it's too much for me. And that is the Clam Light Cake palette. It's a little easy bake oven and I love it. The thought that went into designing the packaging of this palette is just astounding to me. I love it. I love everything about it. So this is just big and bulky and obnoxious. And you know what? I'm here for it. I'm okay with it. And I'm going to save it, this oven, forever because I think it's cute. So it is always going to live in its oven. It is never going to not live in its oven because the oven is cute. Bite me. And of course, oh, here's the palette. I mean, it is so adorable. The cake is just very realistic looking, and the back with the nutritional facts on the back, perfect touch. Perfect touch, and it's got all of the ingredients on it. And I'm here for it. I mean, how cute is that? And then of course, the color story is like, this is the perfect rainbow palette. I mean, look at it. It's so pretty. I adore it. I think it's just great. You can get so many amazing looks out of this. The matte formula is fantastic. They blend like a dream. The shimmers are bright and beautiful and foiled and lovely. And there is nothing about this palette that I don't like. I adore it. I think it's fantastic. And I am super happy that I have it in my collection. And that is why I ranked it at number 2. So now, for the final palette, the number 1 palette that I have purchased so far this year. If you have watched even a couple of my videos lately, you will probably already know what palette this is. And that is, of course, the Muse Beauty Impressionism palette. This palette is so good. So good. These mattes have got to be the best formula that I have ever used in my entire life. They are just incredible. Now, I know you've heard me say it a million times, but I'm going to say it again. The shimmers are not my favorite because, again, I like a really bright shimmer that is sparkly and wet looking. These are not really that formula, but the mattes alone make up for that. And these shimmers are fine. I don't have a problem with these shimmers. They work beautifully the way that they're intended to work. And if I want a little more sparkle, I have many things I can add on top. But honestly, the matte formula in this is just stunning. They are the most blendable pigmented shadows I have. You put them down, and unlike a lot of really pigmented shadows, they don't just stick. They blend out so incredibly. This shadow here, it looks, and this is probably the one that has the most kick up in it. And when you put it on, you think, oh my gosh, because it's so bright and so bold, you think it's going to be hard to blend out, but it's not. It just slides where you want it to go. They last all day. They don't fade. They don't crease. They are just great. And the way that they combined the colors in this, first of all, it really does speak to the Impressionism era when you talk about, you know, art and stuff like that. I think that they really nailed that perfectly. Second of all, I think that the colors all play incredibly well together. Even ones that are on the opposite side of the color wheel from each other, you don't wind up with a muddy, disgusting mess on your eye. They are so good, and I cannot wait to see what this brand does next. I am all in. I am here for it. I will purchase whatever they put out. That's where I am with this one. So yeah, that is why the Muse Beauty Impressionism palette has taken the number 1 spot. I love this palette so much with all of my heart. So that is everything. That is everything. I made it through all 24 palettes. I'm sorry, I know that this video is going to be long. It's going to be over 30 minutes. I apologize. I know I just had too much garbage that I needed to talk about. Okay, not garbage. Great stuff. I had a lot of great stuff to talk about. So that is everything. I would like to know whether or not you picked any of these things up, whether you have these in your collection, how you feel about them. Do you have other things that you like more? I'd love to hear about that. I'm always looking for new things to buy. I shouldn't be, but I am. Here I am. Palette hoarder. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like down below. While you're down there, hit subscribe. Next to subscribe is that little bell. If you ring that little notification bell, you will be notified of all of my uploads. And of course, follow me on Instagram. I am at @seemybliss_beauty. And that's everything. So I hope you all have a fantastic day. Please remember to wash your hands and wear your mask, and I will hopefully see you guys next time. Bye. We used to be fun.
You